Hello, one and all. Welcome to the Savage Patriots. Today, on the episode of Savage Patriots, we'll be dealing with the young man who was deported to El Salvador. He was deported to El Salvador under the pretext that he was an MS-13 gang member. The reports say that he has definitely been a gang member for a long time, and you only get those tattoos after you've done a certain thing to certain people. We know he's capable of it because he's beaten the brakes off his wife. Anyway,
But good sir, can I
hmm.
impose a little proposition?
please do.
But wasn't he known as the Maryland Man?
Yes, he was known as the Maryland Man.
Ah,
Yes. I forgot the last part that they left off. His name was Son. He was the Maryland Man's son.
aha.
He was the holier than holy this
Yes.
13 gang member. That's how they're treating him.
A father and a Maryland Man.
The father.
For those of you who are wondering where Coy is, in case you missed the memo, Coy has to deal with some family issues right now. Not like, trouble with the law or nothing like that. But he's putting family first, and we're behind him 100%. As for his interim or permanent replacement, the jury's still out. He will be beginning on the 5th. There are some other things for him that popped up before he could begin. And we want to make sure when he does start, he's starting without any distractions. Let's go with that. And yes, we are deciding to call him Decoy.
Yeah.
It's his way of getting his black card back and replacing a white dude that looks like him. So yes, Decoy. I think it's a perfect name, very, very befitting, if you ask me. I mean, I can't think of a better name than Decoy, personally. I mean, Glenn is his name, but I digress. We'll be talking today about a certain individual. The man's name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And apparently, he has been, by the way of what we've been hearing, accidentally deported. Not quite sure how you get accidentally deported. But my question now is, what did they know about him that caused him to be sent off? And well, we found out what caused him to be sent off.
Yep.
And we also found out why he will not be returning, because he's not an American citizen. He's a citizen of El Salvador. So we are going to be discussing his case. And so to begin, we're going to read the New York Post's statements about him. I figure we'd pick a nice neutral party. Alleged.
Does that even exist?
Was
Does
that?
that even exist anymore? Neutral?
Yeah, well, we can call it that. I mean,
I don't think anything's neutral
Yeah.
nowadays.
I think New York Post is a little more balanced. I mean,
they are fairly balanced. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was surprised at some of the stuff they report on. It's not your typical left wing nut job stuff they say. So
compared to New York Times, please.
yeah, compared to them, yeah, it is. It is quite the difference of opinions. But they say alleged MS-13 member. Let's stop there. There is enough information out there that even with a simple, as the left would say, Google search, you'd find out that it's not an alleged member, that he is a member who was deported by the Trump administration to El Salvador, a notorious megaprison, was previously accused of physically abusing his wife, who has been fiercely advocating for his release. Some of us love getting beat down, apparently.
Stockholm syndrome, is that what's going on here?
Look, okay, the longer I live, the less I understand women.
I don't understand them at all.
He abused me, but his stroke is so good.
Not all. But in the day's time, most.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're over the age of 42-ish and you had a brain before then, this doesn't apply to you. But under that age, and even some above it, seem to go for either the thug or the violent man, and they consider being put hands on as a sign of love. Okay. What to each his own, I guess. Garcia's wife, Jennifer Vasquez Sura, applied for a protective order against her husband in 2021. That was just 3-4 years ago. Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
Saying he punched, scratched, and grabbed her with some of the alleged abuse so severe, She was left with bruises and bleeding, according to court documents. Mind you, not internet sleuths, not TikTok, not Twitter, court records. In the petition for the order, Vasquez Sura laid out the horrifying claims of events that allegedly happened in front of their then infant on May 4th, 2021. Look at that wonderful, unassuming, sweet man from Maryland.
He looks so humble and
so humble.
Just
so he could never have done that.
No, look at his face.
Yeah, courts are lying.
Yeah,
setting the stage for how we're supposed to be, model citizens.
Yeah,
he does look like one.
That's another one they say. But I love him. I can change him. That's their favorite one. Is I can change him.
Yeah, I can change and can't change nobody.
That's not like Saddam Hussein when in South Park. I can change. I can change.
Did he say that
in the South Park video movie?
Oh yeah, yeah. With the
he was singing "I Can Change." Yeah.
Satan.
I was watching on my laptop, and he yelled at me to turn it off. I mean, who are you to be watching something on your laptop? You better be paying attention to your angry husband. How dare you? I told him I wasn't sleepy. He got angry, reached over, shut, and threw my laptop on the floor. Well, duh. The man is talking to you. How dare you do something outside of listen and put down everything when he starts to talk? It's pretty simple to me. And the baby started to cry because he was putting pressure on him. Okay, well, maybe, okay. Like, I'll take the baby side.
Like squeezing him? Like profusely pressure? What kind of pressure are we talking about here?
I don't know, man. I mean,
don't question it. Don't question it.
No, don't question it. Okay. Just let it be. Just what they say is what they say, and you got no say over what they say. Okay, say.
All right.
Say. Anyway,
that's a good song.
Yes, my immediate reaction was to push him off of us, and he then scratched on my left eye, leaving me bleed. I'm assuming that's leaving me bleeding. I don't know what leaning is supposed to be in there.
Oh my gosh, has journalistic integrity gone out the window now?
Yeah.
No editors.
Is it a direct statement from her?
You had the leaning part. It might be one of those not be able to speak English very well thing. She detailed in her own handwriting, according to the petition obtained by Fox News reporter. She also accused him of ripping her shorts and shirt during another explosive argument later that day, according to the document. I ran to the bathroom. He ran behind me, grabbed my arm. I have marks on my arm as well, left arm. So interesting. Oh, so this is how they got him going now? Okay, good. I'm good with that. I got no problem with him being manhandled, like none. If you, because a lady won't close her laptop and talk to you, maybe she did mean leaving. Yeah, leaving me bleeding, maybe. But if you're gonna lay your hands on a woman in front of a child, I hope some police hold you and manhandle you like that. I really do. I want nothing more for you than to have the same energy handed to you by somebody bigger than you, multiple ones if possible. That'd be great. I'd pay money to watch. That's good pay-per-view for me.
Yeah,
real good pay-per-view. She added she was afraid to be close to him. Put a petition. Vasquez Sura also alleged Abrego Garcia hit her in at least 2 more times in 2020, including November when he hit her with his boot.
Oh,
to boot. And in
boot.
Not the play on words.
He hit her with a boot to boot. I'm not making fun of domestic violence, people. No, I'm making fun of stupid people advocating for woman abusers to come back into their lives. Anyway, and in August, he allegedly abused her, his abuse left her with a purple eye, not black, purple.
Purple.
This man hit her so hard.
You were about to say it.
I was. He put hands on her so good that she skipped right past black and went to purple.
Dang.
Jeez. So where are we at now
Okay,
in terms of the number of kinds of physical interactions here? We've gotten punches, scratches, boots to
Clothes
the head,
tearing.
Yeah.
and then
resting on the baby too heavily,
and then purple eye infliction.
purple eye. It was a one horn flying purple people beater. So we have here.
Wow.
A thing. I'm on a roll today. The Department of Homeland Security shared Vasquez Sura's allegations on X, saying they are evidence that Abrego Garcia had a history of violence and was not an upstanding Maryland man. The media has portrayed him as this is MS-13. This MS-13 gang member is not a sympathetic figure. Now,
go figure.
Let's discuss a few things, shall we? Do you believe that he is an MS-13 gang member? Therein lies the question now. What are your thoughts on that one?
Based off the photos I've seen, I would assume he's MS-13. I mean, most of those guys don't just get MS-13 or any type of symbol or sign from MS-13 tattooed on their body unless they're affiliated with it. A good citizen would not go and get anything associated with MS-13 tatted on their body. Guilty by association at that point.
Right.
And not to mention, I saw reports of how his wife on her Instagram posted a photo, but then covered the tattoos for some strange reason. So that got me thinking.
She did it a lot, put hearts over it and little stamps and stuff like that. And people were so stupid. I saw this one guy said, "You see how Trump's lying? He put MS-13 like it was on a picture, and that is not what's on his tattoo. They are lying about my boy."
No, he was like, obviously it's Photoshop, and we're all looking at him like, really? Oh my God.
Are you
breaking
that low
news?
IQ?
Is it Photoshop? Oh my God.
I'm confused as to how they consider themselves a stalwart of intelligence. I don't even figure that out. I mean, I'm trying my best to how you don't know that we know that it is not an actual part of the photo. Like, smart people could figure it out.
You remember, Marlon, what we all said? Who's he talking to? His base.
His base.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Pump up the volume. Base. So here's a report by News Nation.
Other big story today, that is the immigration fight over the Maryland man who is an alleged gang member.
Do you notice how they made him take his photos, by the way?
Yeah.
Hide his
so
hands
they knew about the knuckle sandwich thing he had on his hand. That's why I think they did such a good job of portraying him until that last slip up with the photograph. Now, if he had just shaken with his other hand, they might have gotten away with it, but he didn't.
Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen heading home today after meeting with Kilmar Abrego Garcia yesterday.
Right there. See? And see?
In El Salvador. He traveled.
Oh, I like how they did that too. Let's see if they let it slide.
The Chiron blocked it off.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
To that South American country to push for Garcia's release.
Oh, he looked like a pedo. Look at that face.
The Trump administration to return him to the U.S., saying he was not given due process. But the administration says documents show he is an active member of the MS-13 gang and was previously detained in connection to a murder and admitted to being in the U.S. illegally. So there's a lot going on here. News Nation's Libby Dean following it all live from the White House. So Libby, the fight over Abrego Garcia is escalating.
No. There is no fight over him. There are people that want to salvage a criminal, and there are people that don't want to salvage a criminal. So there's no fight. A fight would be this man is being held wrongfully, and people are holding him wrongfully. Then that would be a fight.
Yeah.
I don't know how you explain this one, but hey, this has been the MO of the left for a while now. Glorify the violent and the evil. And then when a little kid who has survived brain cancer becomes an honorary member of any police force, you don't cheer for that, and you don't even big the dude up. That's how they operate.
Yeah.
And my question is why is this news? You know, there's a legal system for a reason. If say it did happen, this guy was deported illegally, he was an American citizen. Why is this news? You know what I mean? It's just like all over the place. And this guy's like in the spotlight now, and he's just a guy that possibly got deported as an American citizen.
Keep the gangbangers stateside, fellas. Look, I'm telling people hilariously, but factually, they're trying to replace black gangbangers now because you gotta have a equal representation.
Yeah, Nicole, not only is Abrego Garcia's return being fought in the courts, we've seen that play out this week, it's also at the center now of this PR battle between the White House and Senator Van Hollen. Now, this morning, President Trump weighing in on the Maryland senator's trip yesterday and subsequent meeting that we saw with Abrego Garcia, saying that the senator looks like a, quote, fool, and President Trump goes on to call him a grandstander.
He's not wrong.
Where is the lie?
Not wrong at all.
I'm looking for the lie. I don't see a lie nowhere here. It looks like it makes sense to me. Why? Okay, hear me out. Why are you going? He's the representative from Maryland, right?
Yeah, sitting senator.
Okay. How did you not know about him before to try and get him his citizenship?
Wait a minute.
Just a question for you, Mister. Before all this, no one knew who you were or cared who you were. But when he was here, and this particular incident happened with his wife, you didn't chime in on that at all, though. I find that kind of what's the word? Weird.
What's the tenure for a senator? 6 years?
2 years? Who knows anymore? Really?
Because between 2021 and now,
he's not going to get voted out.
Well, right, but between 2021 and now, he would have still been a senator of Maryland during those times. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I just find it odd that all of these people that are being deported, that you say they had a right to be here, y'all never really did anything to get, especially in the Senate or even in Congress, to create like how Obama Black Jesus did, to try and give these people a pathway to some sort of citizenship. You never did that, even though your own decrepit in chief Biden asked you to. You never did it. I find that kind of weird. Like, you had the House and Senate at one point. I think like the first year and a half of his presidency, he didn't do anything then. I mean, you had all the influx of people that were illegal, and you didn't try to make them citizens. You didn't give them a pathway. You didn't create it. And mind you can pass the law to do certain things. You could make the paperwork easier. You can make it cost less. You can reduce the time you need to wait in America to make it happen. You could do a whole bunch of stuff. He didn't do that. So I don't know, man. I don't know how you excuse yourself for having had the opportunity and never did it. What's up, Earl?
Now, El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, unsurprisingly on the same page, also taking to social media to mock Van Hollen's visit, saying Garcia has, quote, miraculously risen from the death camps and torture, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador.
He's not wrong.
He's not. Oh, man. That's hilarious.
You know, just when I think that nobody really got rubbed off with Trump, in comes Nayib. Nayib went full out, like savage, and that is that retort is how we should all do. Yeah. I'm not lying. You see, a lot of these people expect us to be docile anymore. Nope, not anymore. Not anymore. Somehow he miraculously risen from the death camps and torture chambers. Isn't that what they say? He was being tortured and held and against his will, and heaven knows, no one knows if he's alive. And everyone's, was it Crockett? Crockett was, I'm so glad he was alive, but we need to get him up out of there. That's what she say.
Yeah, something like that.
They've never cared about those El Salvador jails until now. Never. They've been around. We've been seeing pictures of these places, of people in them, and just what they consider torture camps. And they've never said anything until this moment.
Didn't the Biden administration have a certain individual that he put over finding the root cause of mass immigration in other countries? Because I'm not going to call her what the right called her. I'm going to give her the just title that the president said she had. She was responsible. We're talking about Kamala Harris. Camel Toe Harris was in charge. Listen. Of internationally finding out why people were leaving their countries and finding a remedy, right? Is that what that's not a border czar? Okay, I'm not calling her a border czar. Okay, I'm not like the rest of the right. I'm going to give her her rightful title. She's not border czar. She was an international person of interest in finding out how we can improve these countries. Why didn't she, in the 4 years that she was in power with that title, ask Mr. Nayib Bukele how he could improve the prisons and get rid of MS-13 gangs in El Salvador?
So she was more of an immigration researcher.
Oh.
I think she was more of a human trafficker, but dealing with immigration, dealing as an immigration researcher.
Ah,
yes.
I prosecuted transcontinental criminals.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
I'm not gonna touch it.
You know, if Garcia would only just identify as a woman, he could be back here in tutus.
That's right. Then we really have a fight on our hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I do respect Kamala. Anyone who could spend that much time on their knees and still and still stand in front of people, you got some heart. You got some heart to spend that much time on your knees, not praying, and still be able to stand up in front of people with a straight face.
Well, I mean, someone was saying, "Oh God."
Somebody. Yeah. I'm not sure she introduced him to the capital G.
No.
Definitely the lowercase.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on to post that now that Abrego Garcia is confirmed healthy, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody. We know he's being held in that high security prison in El Salvador.
What's wrong with that?
Listen, honor of thing.
I'm just curious if the country he came from is telling you that he is confirmed to be a part of this gang that we know, and the gang itself is one of the most notorious gangs. Why should I feel bad for a dude?
Yeah.
Like honestly, why should I feel bad about somebody being detained? In fact, being able to still talk to a senator, that's he still got some clout.
Well, Marlon, they want you to feel bad because he was separated from his family.
Oh, well, Ray is too.
Yeah.
So is Pookie.
Yeah, they're all separated from their family.
Yeah. And Jethro too. When he does sell his meth, he's still separated from his family. But anybody talking about them?
Nope, they don't care about them. They're Americans. We don't care about Americans being separated.
I'm just wondering, man, how y'all pick and choose who you're arguing about that's separated from families, or how about the mamas that don't want to let their kids see their fathers? That's separation too. But y'all say that's a woman's right. So,
Interesting.
Okay. Let me hear what you guys say.
Abrego Garcia. Now, Van Hollen is headed back to the U.S. this afternoon, and it's likely that we're going to hear more about this meeting that took place, given that it was the first time that we actually saw pictures of Kilmar Abrego Garcia since his deportation back in March, Nicole.
And so, Libby, you know, in the midst of all this, his family, what are we hearing from Abrego Garcia's family?
Not much with her wired jaw. I'm sorry. She's defending her little husband in this, and
which is crazy.
Which is weird to me. But hey, again, it's par for the course with these people.
Women's rights.
His wife Jennifer actually said that this meeting between Van Hollen and her husband was an answered prayer because she now knows that her husband is alive. Now that
I like how they always go to God. Thank you, Jesus, that he's safe so he can come back and put hands on me again as we pray.
Okay. Let me get something straight here. What is usually like the end game for most gang members? Usually not all the time. Death, right? Death. What are the consequences sometimes of being a gang man, especially part of the MS-13 gang? Man, you can get a death sentence at some point. So you weren't worried about him when he was running around doing dirt in the streets.
Sure.
But you're worried about him in a jail where he probably gets 3 hots, takes a shower. You know, it's not like American jails, you know, luxury, but they're taken care of to an extent. But you weren't worried about him here, you know, when he was doing all this foul stuff.
Right. Now, the fact is, you would have put him in prison because you filed court documents. Yeah. If the judge had said, okay, he's going to jail, he'd still be separated from his family, but he'd be doing it here.
And you know what they do to guys like him in jail, Marlon, in prison?
For beating a woman? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
On site. On site.
Just wondering,
Okay.
We've seen those pictures, but this all coming in a statement to News Nation. You can see it on your screen there, where Jennifer states that she still has a lot of questions, hopes, and fears, and goes on to actually thank Senator Van Hollen and also vow to continue to fight for reunification with her husband, who is being held in that prison after being deported. Now, despite Garcia's family claiming that he is not a member of the MS-13 gang, the White House does continue to allege that Garcia is, and that there is no chance of them bringing a gang member back here into the U.S. The White House has been very adamant about that ever since this deportation. But that vow, despite the Supreme Court actually ordering that the Trump administration needs to facilitate Garcia's return following.
He does not, though. And it did not rule that at all. I guess people just love to manipulate the paperwork. We'll find the paperwork here in a minute to show you exactly what they said. But here,
the administration admitting that this deportation of Abrego Garcia was an administrative error. So a lot of developments here. We'll see what Van Hollen has to say about this, given he had that first face-to-face meeting with Abrego Garcia since this deportation.
Well, the saga absolutely continues. All right, Libby, thank you.
So
my mom signed up for
oh
AARP.
my God, that was
so. About that administrative error, the only reason why it's quote unquote an administrative error was because to send Abrego Garcia to an El Salvadorian prison was because he was stated that it was out of fear of a rival gang that was going to come for him. So the administrative error was about sending him to some other place that does not have a rival gang for his safety.
Oh, so he's in warfare with gangs?
Yeah.
So let me get this right. He's not in the gang, but he has rivalry with gang members.
Yes.
yes.
And he's a upstanding citizen, but he beats his wife.
He's a Maryland man.
So he's affiliated.
Character right. I don't want to character assassinate the man. He's going to get enough of that when the gangs find him. But
as they should.
As they should.
So out of all these people that's been deported since Trump's been in office, and I know there were a lot of them that were gang members, MS-13, whatever. Why this guy? You know what I mean? It's like, why this guy? Why are they so focused on this one individual? Because he's deported like thousands of people already. A lot of them are from, MS-13. A lot of them supposedly maybe sent back over to their country. But why this individual? That's the question.
I'm gonna make a guess, just a little one. I'm gonna guess that he has done something for somebody in government that they don't want coming out in the wash.
Oh,
that's my guess. Could be anything from I off somebody for political reasons and they made a deal with me to stay here, and now the new administration doesn't honor that deal and deported me. And now we got to bring him back. But I want to go into who MS-13 is real quick. Mara Salvatrucha, commonly known as MS-13, is an international criminal gang that originated, in Los Angeles, California in the 1980s. Originally, the gang was set up to protect Salvadorian immigrants from other gangs in Los Angeles area. Over time, the gang grew into more traditional criminal organization. MS-13 has a long-time rivalry with the 18th Street Gang. Many MS-13 members were deported to El Salvador after the end of the Salvadorian War in 1992. Upon being arrested, facilitating the spread of the gang to Central America. The gang is active in many parts of the continental United States, Canada, Mexico, and Central America. Most members are Central American Salvadorians in particular. As an international gang, its history is closely tied to United States-Salvador relations. In 2018, the gang's U.S. membership of up to 10,000 accounted for less than 1% of the 1.4 million gang members in the United States, and at a similar share of the gang's murders. On January 20, 2025, Donald Trump signed an executive order initiating the process to designate various drug cartels and transnational gangs, including MS-13, as foreign terrorist organization. The order was officially enacted on February 20th, 2025, making such groups officially terrorist organizations. Just so you all know, so that if you are part of MS-13, you are now an international criminal. And so any kind of deportation, if you don't have your papers, hear me out, even if you're an El Salvadorian sitting here in America with your green card, it can be revoked if you are a gang member.
Yep. That's right.
Yep.
You understand this, right? If you are here and you're not from here, born, birth, whatever, and you become a part of MS-13, you don't have any more legal rights to be here under what was passed. If you are an American citizen and you become a part of MS-13, you are still a part of an international drug and crime cartel, and you can be put in jail. Just want people to be clear about this. Maybe someone needs to make sure you're educated about it, but that's what we're here for.
And can we also assert that the moment his wife pulled a restraining order on him, all that stuff went out the window as well?
Went completely out. I want to find one thing.
Deported her too.
I want to get this correctly here so I can get this here. All right. So a string of brutal murders in the U.S. has thrown national spotlight on the MS-13 street gang that was born in L.A. This was in 2017. The latest was a mass murder on Monday on Long Island, where the bodies of 4 males, including 3 teenagers, were found mangled in the woods. President Trump treated that to call the gang bad. Attorney General Jeff Sessions vowed to devastate it. Both blamed Obama-era immigration policies for its rise, which I can completely concur and agree with. The gang began in the barrios of Los Angeles, again, in the 1980s. Mm-hmm. Now, I want you to understand that MS-13 became the kind of notorious gang for the kinds of things they did. It wasn't really for drugs. Drugs was part of it, but it's their way of ending their rivals was the marker. MS-13 has been accused of recruiting poor and at-risk teenagers. Joining is said to be to require being jumped in, subjecting to a vicious 13-second beating, and getting wet carrying out a crime, often a murder, for the gang, which is why they were investigating Mr. Garcia for murder. Leaving is potentially more dangerous. Large chest tattoos brand members for life, and some factions are said to murder members who attempt to leave. Now, if Abrego was trying to leave, then maybe seek asylum somewhere where you're not going to continue acting like you're a gang member.
Also, on a further note, there is a motto of MS-13. I looked it up on the Department of Justice website here, where it says the word Mara is a term used in El Salvador for gang, and their whole motto here is kill, rape, and control.
Oh, sounds like great people.
Sounds privileged.
I had one of them living in my neighborhood, invite them over for the barbecue.
Ironically, that's exactly what I was just reading.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
look upon that. Kill, rape, control. It's almost like he was trying to do at least the last part on his wife. Recent high-profile cases linked to the gang include the murder of 2 female high school students who were attacked with a machete and a baseball bat as they walked through their neighborhood in New York last month, a revenge attack for a minor dispute. 4 alleged MS-13 members were charged for that crime. Another 2 alleged members were charged at the time with the murder of a fellow gang member said to have violated gang protocol. The same month, 2 gang members in the Houston area, Texas, were charged with kidnapping 3 they love the teenagers. Teenage girls, holding them hostage and raping them before shooting 1 dead on the side of the road. Yeah. So there's your breakdown of who MS-13 is. So if you're accused of being a part of MS-13 and you're shown to be a part of MS-13, I have zero sympathy for anything that happens to you. Yeah. Like literally no sympathy for you. Like I don't even care if while you're running from the cops, the tires and you become so close of friends that, you know, you phase through each other, I will not be upset about you leaving this earth. You chose this life, and it comes with a certain outcome.
Mhm.
Now, if Garcia is what they've said and shown to be, oh, why would I feel bad about the man being deported? In fact, I'm saving his child's life.
Yep.
Because he obviously doesn't care about his kid enough, because he also almost hurt the child trying to harm his wife. So I don't know what she's missing.
Mhm.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Now, MS-13 has been labeled as an international terrorist organization. And
Yes.
are they also considered domestic terrorists?
I would assume so.
Now, so when it comes to American citizens that are a part of MS-13, didn't Trump say at some point that he's going to open up Gitmo, or he's going to start sending American citizens
just before he won? Yeah,
to Gitmo. So all these ones that are actually citizens probably end up going to Gitmo, since they are considered terrorists. The ones that aren't from here get deported back to wherever they come from. The ones that are from here that are part of that terrorist organization gets it to Gitmo, just like we would do with Al Qaeda and every other terrorist organization. Find them, round them up, send them away.
I can see that. I can see that. But here's the problem. This is her one chance to get away from the situation.
Right. That part.
And if you don't take it now, you are setting yourself up to be a victim later on, possibly even be killed. If I were her, and what he did was real, and it is true, and he is a gang member, leave. This is your one time to actually get protection, like full protection from this man and the gang members. They can put you in a witness protection program easily.
Sure can.
They can take care of you, but now we're going on the bandwagon, because you know what I think she also sees? I could get money from this.
Yeah, that part.
I can get some good old money out of this, and if I can get that money, I'm gonna do it.
I wonder if she has a GoFundMe.
Ooh.
Hey, let's
I would not be surprised, man.
What's her name?
To help her child.
What's her name?
Why the
Jennifer.
father's away. Yeah.
Something Sura.
Yeah, I'm just gonna type him. Yep, he has a GoFundMe.
Yep. These people.
His GoFundMe. Let's see where it's at right now. And I'm looking now. Don't tell me that it's not true, people. Okay, you cannot tell me it's not true. Here's why I'll tell you. It's you can't tell me that. This is why you can't tell me that.
There it is.
Aid for Kilmar Abrego Garcia Fundament. They raised $258,000.
$250,000.
Mind you, 64 people only donated so far. 64.
Wait. So
let me
it
see
had
if
to be
it's a full list of so okay, sorry. 4. I was gonna stress out there.
Okay.
64. 4.5 thousand people donated. But still, 4.5 thousand people donating must mean that there's some hefty donations in there.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. 50, 50, 50, 35, 200, 50, 50, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 200, 10, 1,000, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100.
Somebody can drop a band
50,
on
50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 3,900.
Oh my God.
25, 25, 100, 100, 50, 50, 50, 100, 100, 100, 100, 3,600, 3,000. This is crazy.
This is ridiculous.
200, 100, 100, 150, 100, 200.
So are we? So the people that are donating to this guy, I guarantee they're the ones that are now complaining about egg prices, right?
Yeah. Look at these are the top ones. 39, 37, 36, 36, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
Yo, so in order for me to make some money, I need to make a GoFundMe for an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
Come talk to us, Abby. Come talk to us. Maybe we can help you with that. I don't know if
and
it's
and to Marlon's statement, she realizes that she can walk away with a bag with this. You know
she
what I
is
mean?
walking away with a bag.
Why walk away? Why go into protective custody? I can just stand by my man that whips on me, and I can get paid, and then I'll leave him because he's not getting out of jail. So she's going to get money, cry about how she can't support her family, get the money, and then she's going to move on with her life, and he's going to be still in there.
More than likely.
These people.
So that's
everything
the
is
guys.
anonymous. And now, mind you, the beneficiary is. So you know I'm not lying. Okay, let's look at who the beneficiary is, so people don't assume that I'm lying about this. Look at that. It's her.
It's going directly to her.
Yeah.
Directly to her.
So the National Day Labor Organizing Network is probably going to get a cut of that, and then they're going to present that to Jennifer Vasquez Sura.
And they're going to take a cut too. So
for sure.
Win-win.
No, well, hear me out. They can't take a cut. They're the ones that I'll tell you how the GoFundMe works because I had two set up for me. If you are the beneficiary, it would list it on both of them if both were getting any money out of it. Now, if she's going to pay them, she'd have to do it after she withdraws the money. Now, if they set it up to be withdrawn after a certain milestone is made, then she can't pull before that milestone. But normally, if you raise 5-10% of it, you can start pulling. And so they will automatically disperse as the money comes in every month if that's how you set it up.
Wow.
So she's been getting all the money. The problem here is for what?
What is the goal?
Well, not only that, but what is the money going to do? There is no lawyer on a case because there is no case.
Right.
So what is she getting the money for? That's what she says. I'm assuming this is what this is what the National Day Labor put out there. We want to thank you for the incredible support you have given Kilmar Abrego Garcia's family as they continue to fight to bring him back to the U.S. Kilmar continues to need our help and hope. His family needs us. His two countries, the United States and El Salvador, have abandoned him. No, they haven't. He's in El Salvador. If they had abandoned him, he'd be in neither America nor El Salvador. Dummy. Two presidents, Trump and Bukele, two conspirators in cruelty, have spread vicious lies about Kilmar as he sits in prison in El Salvador with no due process. He's not owed due process.
Nope.
Kilmar is an innocent man. Even the government lawyers have said so. No, they haven't. But the courts seem helpless to save him because it's not their jurisdiction. How does this difficult? His fate and future are unknown, but the money isn't. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen was able to see Kilmar yesterday in his visit to El Salvador and conveyed the message of love and support that you and millions of people across the country have given him and his family. But he remains detained. We must stand firm, speak out, do everything we can to fight for a safe return to defend human rights and justice and denounce the administration that abducted him and the evil that now rages on all around us. We must stand with Kilmar. No, we must not. And with the hundreds of thousands of other men and women whose names we don't know because you don't care, who have been abducted, disappeared, sent away to satisfy the Trump administration's appetite for victims in this lawless war on immigrants, illegal immigrants.
Yes.
We all feel furious. No, we don't. Some of us are happy and helpless. Resistance can seem futile. It is. But please do what you can. Help the Kilmar family. Don't. And follow these things on social media. Write your congressman. Don't do that. The story is not over. Yes, it is. We will not let it end in defeat. Too bad.
We're about to lose.
Deal with it. We are the people, and only the people can save the people. It was a one-eyed, one-horn flying pepper.
So what was the goal on there? Like the
290.
That was the total amount. 219.
290 is their goal.
And they're 40K away or so.
Yep.
Wow.
30K now because it's 258, so 32K away.
Now I have a question about that congressman that went over there to talk to this criminal. Was that official business? Considered official business? Correct.
Yes.
So he went on the taxpayer's dime. Correct.
Yep. Yes.
Into a foreign country talking. He had to coordinate with the foreign leaders and everything to go over there and talk to this guy.
Yep.
So would that violate the Logan Act? Would it?
No. I'll tell you why it probably wouldn't, because he is, as a government official, allowed to speak to foreign dignitaries. What he would probably not be able to do is mess with anything to do with interfering with relations, but he can't do that because he's not trying to interfere with relations. He's dealing something that has to do with certain citizens. Now, if he had gone over there trying to influence a entity like the government to go against the U.S. government, that'd be one thing. But the way he's doing it, you can't really consider it going against the U.S. government, especially when it looks like the El Salvadorian government is pro-American government.
So, but did he go over there discussing policy with the current?
Doesn't seem like he even had a meeting with the El Salvadorian president to any effect.
But couldn't he have? But he met with the prisoner in question in order to drum up emotionality to sway the mentality of the people in order to influence the El Salvadorian government to then go back to the U.S. government. That's what it seems like.
It'd be difficult to get the Logan Act pushed on this one. Simply because you would have to show that this was his intent to begin with, was to influence the government to act a certain way. This is what it says. The Logan Act is a United States federal law that criminalizes the negotiation of a dispute between the United States and a foreign government by an unauthorized American citizen. So by virtue, he's still in power in the government, and he does have the right to speak to overseas foreign dignitaries. So it's not applicable. Now, people like John Kerry, who was a sitting government official, who no longer is, if he went over there to do that, then they would be able to put that on him. But a sitting congressperson or senator, they can do that, no problem. They do have that ability to speak. They may not be able to sway nobody, but which is obvious. He did not sway anybody. So,
see, I want to know exactly what they talked about, because to me, if you're a congressman and you go over there at representing America, and you go over there and you're talking down to America and her policies in a foreign country about America, you know, I would consider that almost a treasonous act.
Almost.
We'll see, Trump. Hey, see what you do with this guy.
I think what it would do more for, though, is to let people decide later, if that man comes up for election, what they're going to do. But again, I say, like in Maryland, he's not going to lose his seat. The purple-haired people out there and the blue-haired people out there are going to vote him back in because they think he's doing something virtuous. But again, I'm waiting for my question to be answered. Why didn't they do anything during the 4 years that you had your certain person in power to codify anyone being here and make them stay? You didn't do it. Not your senators, not your Congress. None of them did it. So why are you complaining now? You're going to say, Lee?
No, I was just going to say, like, the fact that if they're going to go on Michael's angle, then that would be a treason to effect to the point where he loses his seat. So I mean, it may not be a breach of the Logan Act, but there's certainly some elements of him trying to influence policy by utilizing an illegal immigrant to the point at which, you know, he has the capacity to lose the seat because of that.
Really, the only person that could bring it would be Bondi anyway.
Right.
And I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to hope that people vote differently, which is silly to me. My biggest issue right now is that people are talking about this and talking about that, but no heads have been rolling.
Right.
And I'm pretty upset about that. I am. I don't want to just know that they broke the law. I want to know that they broke the law and are held to account, so that future people will watch it and say, dang, they ain't playing around. They really will arrest you. You say you have this information. You say you have this documentation. You have proof that they did something wrong, but they're still roaming the street. Something's up with that.
Yeah.
Something's up with that. I don't like that one at all.
And another question. So you guys remember when Barack Obama did that drone strike on that American citizen, right? Did he get any due process with that drone strike? So how come the left they weren't in arms about him actually killing an American citizen in a foreign country without due process, but they're worried about a guy who was convicted of crimes who's not a citizen getting deported without so-called due process? How come they weren't just as angry about that? Now, it makes no sense. This whole thing just makes no sense to me. Why this guy is so important.
Well, part of this whole scenario that's going on is this idea that we need, and this is the part of the due process crap I don't understand. I think due process goes out the window when we have tangible proof. I mean, I know I want to give you the idea to defend yourself to these charges, but they're not even going to the charges in front of courts for it to be a due process. It's leaving the due process completely out, but telling everybody that they did something wrong. I've never understood that concept where you can come to me, blatantly tell me the crime, but nobody ever goes to defend themselves in court about it. No one ever goes to fight about it. It just stays there. I'm confused by that. And that's been the one thing that I've been hoping that Bondi getting in it would do. And they're not doing that. Maybe, and I'm not going to say how, I'm just going to wait. Maybe they're taking their time to get all their documentation together, but I would think they'd start their paperwork already to give the other people time to defend themselves too. So I'm just sitting here kind of upset about a lot of things that I was hoping would, drop, like Epstein's list that they say was going to come out that still hasn't dropped.
That part. I'm
just confused as to how that's not out yet. Maybe I was expecting too much, but what's going to end up happening? They're going to say, "See, they're not releasing because they know Trump's name is on it." That's what's going to happen. And I think the longer he waits, the more that theory is going to pop up. And they could fool around and find out that people are actually going to think that for real, especially people on the right. And the next few elections with Republicans coming up, it could cost them. If you want to take that chance, I guess go ahead. I guess I don't know. I wouldn't do it if I were you.
I mean, that list has to be pretty bad. From what Pam Bondi said, a few months ago or last month, that is pretty disturbing. So there has to be some pretty disturbing stuff on that list and names of some big people, big wigs that if they said these people, I mean, I think it would shake up the whole system, like literally. And I don't know what they're worried about, because this is what we want. We want the system shaken up. We want to see the system crumble and burn as it is right now. We want a whole reset. So if you got to drop every name, we don't care who it is, drop the names. Let us know.
I mean, especially since, we don't really have any sort of confidence in our institutions. You might as well just burn it down and we can restart again.
Yep, burn it down.
I'm just confused by the whole thing myself. I really am. I'm going to read one last document here. This is the Department of Justice's statement on MS-13. While MS-13 is not the only transnational gang this administration will target, we believe the following background information attributed as information provided to the Justice Department will be helpful. We already went over their start in the United States, MS-13. Okay, good. Through the combined efforts of federal, state, and local law enforcement, great progress has been made diminishing and severely disrupted the gang within certain targeted areas of the U.S. 2009 to 2010. Recent investigations of some regions in the country have revealed that major leaders have MS-13 in El Salvador, many of whom are in prison there for murder, kidnapping, or extortion, have been sending representatives to cross the United States illegally to gain control of local MS-13 cliques and reconstitute them. These emissaries then connect to local MS-13 cliques to be their jailed leaders in El Salvador by cell phone. The gang leaders in El Salvador then institute what MS-13 is called a program in which they direct MS-13 cliques to become more violent to control territory. They have a process, a mad process. And for people who want to believe that somehow wanting gang members, including local ones, out of the community is a bad thing, maybe just maybe you should understand their impact. In fact, I had an interview with somebody the other day who is recently left the gang activity side of worlds, and gave me a little bit of insight of how the American gangs, black gangs, started and what they kind of morphed into. I think that'll be dropping soon. But in either case, this guy, that the left is trying to portray as a good guy. Even his wife, the wife knows what she's doing. She's trying to get that bag. The left knows what they're doing. They're trying to bring more people to destabilize the Americas, and they're both succeeding in their mission. I have a suspicion, though, that if this continues, 2028 might not be as easy as we think. Trump needs to get off his behind and do more to expose what he says he has. I understand it's only been 3 months. I get it. But based on what we have at hand right now in terms of what control we have a deciding vote in the Senate, we have the Congress, and we have the White House. This is the time we need to push all the stuff we can to get it going. If we can't do it now,
it's not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. So
I still believe it's going to happen before that. What's he doing next year? That America, that huge event he's doing all year, starting next year.
Right.
I think something's going to happen before then. Think around the 4th of July, Independence Day. That'd be the perfect time to, for me, to drop everything, declaring independence from this corrupt system that we've all been under. We're going back to common law. We're getting rid of federal taxes. We're going back to the gold standard. That'd be the perfect time to start that. Then it builds up to that big carnival American, I forget what he called it, that builds up to 2026 to that event.
Right.
So we still have time, man. Like you said, 90 days, give them till around Independence Day. And I think the bomb's going to start dropping.
But even in that instance, though, we as the American people still have work to do in order to recognize and hold on to the House and the Senate in 2026, because a lot of people are about to exit and they're going to be replaced. If we don't understand policy, and if we don't understand that we the people are in fact in control, and we need to vote better, and we need to be better informed voters. And so we still have work to do in 2026, even though if that is the plan that Trump is going to institute, it's still on us to make sure that we are voting in the right people, and that we're making sure that we're doing our own due diligence to ensure that the government is in fact what it is that we want it to be on a federal level.
Right. Like I said, he's got his work cut out for him. And I understand people might be thinking this is a waste of time. And I know some things take time. And I don't want to become that person that says, oh, he ain't doing nothing because it ain't been, soon and quick enough. But I'm not on the bandwagon for him to be chastised to the point of, get him fired kind of stuff. But I'm saying this, if this ever gets to the ear of President Trump, you were charged with a task to upheave all of the crap going on there. Bureaucracy is all about, and I get it may take time to have them expose themselves so that you're without a fail point. I get that might be true too. However, there are things I think you can go ahead and do to escalate their exposure.
Yes.
I just hope you do it sooner than later. We'll see how that works out. In either case, like I said, the 5th, which is going to be in 2 weeks. So not this coming Monday, the following Monday is when we'll have Glenn. But like I said, we've been doing this thing for a while, so the three of us will just be fine. We'll be fine. And who knows, Coy might be back before then too. Either way, we'll have 5 of us in a group. So we're not in any rush necessarily. It's not like, oh, good, Coy's going to get rid of it. That's not how we're working here. We're just trying to make it the 4 feels good, more points of views. But he won't be available till the 5th. So we'll make this work for as long as we can make it work. In either case, we'll be back on Wednesday. I have no doubt that things are going to get a whole lot more interesting between now and then. But join us again then. I'll be back on tomorrow, Straight Talk. Too Strong will be dropping but we've been dropping about 5 a day videos. So make sure y'all go check them out. It'll be interesting. We're trying to get back on the algorithm. They've done a really good job of getting rid of us. So if you want to help us see more, just make sure you go do some sharing if you don't mind. Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you Wednesday. Peace.
Peace.